Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to learn everything you need to know about carbohydrates. What are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are the macronutrient that raises your blood sugar the most. Now, I'm not going to go into chemistry, biology, and show you diagrams of how carbohydrates look like and so on. You don't need to know that stuff. However, what you do need to know from a diabetes point of view is that these foods raise your blood sugar the most. And ironically, or more rather from a sad point of view, they're absolutely everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean that they're especially present in processed foods. When you think about cookies, when you think about pasta, about rice, potatoes, anything with sugar, chips, all the sauces that you eat, in everything there are carbohydrates, and usually these carbohydrates in the processed foods are artificial sweeteners, they're sugar, they're all sorts and kinds of artificial products that not only skyrocket your blood sugar, but they also hurt your body in the deepest way possible. So unfortunately, carbohydrates are absolutely everywhere, and that's why it's even more important that you eat only natural foods and only the foods that I recommend in this course. In the 30-day program of this course that you're following, you'll be able to learn to follow the program towards the end of the course after we've gone through everything. In this program, you should refrain from high carbohydrate foods as much as possible until you reach normal blood sugar values. It is presumed that once you reach normal blood sugar values, your insulin sensitivity is high enough so that even if you eat a couple of starches, natural starches, of course, so natural foods such as squash or potatoes or rice, obviously in small quantities, it is presumed that you can digest them without skyrocketing your blood sugar levels, okay? So in the 30-day program, at the end, we'll take you through everything you need to know. It's a very simple program to follow. Anyone can do it. It will work for you. Everything you need to do is just follow along and keep on to the end, and then apply it to your life. So again, after you finish this 30-day program and you reach normal blood sugar values and you've reversed your diabetes, you can slowly start introducing small quantities of carbohydrates in your diet. So in this context, in the context that you're still having a higher blood sugar level than normal, and in which you still have diabetes, the ideal carbohydrate foods are the following: non-starchy vegetables. And when I say non-starchy, I refer to all the vegetables except the ones with more starch, like carrots, squash, beets, vegetables like that. You can, however, eat a small quantity of carrots or squash, very, very small, okay? Spices are also considered quite high carbohydrate foods, but let's be honest, how many spices can you eat, So spices are very, very good, and you can eat them at ease, how much ever you want. Berries are also very, very nutritious. In fact, berries are the most nutritious fruit out there. I suggest you exercise caution when eating them. Do not eat more than a handful, but they're very, very good for your body, and I presume that they won't raise your blood sugar too much unless you're in a very advanced condition. Ideally, you should put some vinegar on your carbohydrates, obviously except fruit, to reduce blood sugar spikes. This is especially important if you make exceptions, which, let's be honest, we're human, we're prone to making mistakes. Maybe you'll eat a potato here, some rice there, and so on. It's not such a big deal if you minimize the damage that you have caused. And you can minimize that damage by putting vinegar on those carbohydrates as well as eating a big salad on the side. Which brings us to the next logical question: how to avoid blood sugar spikes, generally speaking? Well, the simplest way to do so is avoid starchy foods. Starchy foods, I mean natural foods. These are natural foods, obviously. For example, when you think about starchy foods, you can think about potatoes, rice, pasta, cookies, pastries, and so on. If you avoid these, I guarantee your blood sugar levels will slowly go down day after day after day until they will reach normal blood sugar levels. Unfortunately, pasta, cookies, and pastries are actually processed foods, okay? So if you avoid processed foods in general, like I suggested many times throughout this course already, you will be able to avoid the biggest sources of blood sugar spikes overall, okay? So instead, what you should do is only eat non-starchy vegetables. Spices, you can put spices on everything, as well as small quantities of berries if you want to eat some fruit. And this is literally everything you need to know about carbohydrates. There's no need to get any more complicated than this, okay? So eat only vegetables. If you do make an exception, which I don't necessarily recommend, but things happen, if you do make an exception, use vinegar and eat a big salad on the side to minimize the damage, and avoid processed foods at all costs, because these processed foods contain hidden carbohydrates that will wreak havoc on your overall health as well as on your blood sugar levels.